You guys don't really know me or anything like that. I live in Crown Point. Yeah, I know. That's your shit, right? So, I live in Crown Point, and it's weird because I live here and I started picking up bad Crown Point habits. Like, for instance, for instance, like when I'm outside at night and I see another black person, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I grab my cell phone, I press a 9 and a 1 just to be safe. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Because I like to keep my neighborhood safe, you know what I mean? George Zimmerman all day, right?
All day.
Oh, easy. Somebody's been exposed. Somebody was voting for Santorum this year. Awesome. Awesome. Funny thing is, you know this McDonald's right here? I was having lunch there, and I was sitting there, and it was a like a middle-aged woman, like very beautiful, very nice looking Caucasian lady. She kind of looked like you, but you know she was older.
She was older.
Yeah, she was older. Exactly. Well, she walked in with like 7 of the like roughest, toughest looking black dudes I ever seen in my life. And the first thing I thought, I was like, either I'm in a scene from Dangerous Minds, or this is like a gangbang lunch break. Like, I don't know.
Sponging and Gary.
What? Sponging and Gary?
Sponging and Gary.
Sponging and Gary? What does that mean? Sponging.
Picking up the fucking brothers.
What?
Picking up the brothers.
I don't know.
You don't know that stuff?
No, I don't know that.
What kind of black guy are you?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not a real one.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for solidifying that. I'm glad you could do that for me. The funny thing is, like, I do have a lot of friends who are like kind of from the nether regions of Crown Point, like, you know, and they're always like give me the same excuse. They're like, oh well, the word nigger means nothing but an ignorant person. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. Like, the word nigger was made for black people. Like, if we just called anybody niggers, we would call Macedonians niggers all the time. I love that joke because it's racy. And I could possibly get beat up after every show. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your headliner?
All right.
Then again, let's do it like this. Are you ready to be quiet and listen to your headliner? No. I know. That sucks, right? I know. Shut the fuck up. That's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Chicago comedian, veteran Dave Odd, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Dave Odd.
What color is he? Dave, I've seen him before.
Hey everybody, give it up for Keith and everyone else you've seen. I just have to finish up a text message here. No, seriously.
Home Alone.
Yeah, no shit. It'll be funny in a second.
So, if I can get out alive.
Okay, there we go. Hi everybody, how's it going?
Cool, yeah.
Fantastic. Racist mustache up front, that's good.
I should have worn my Confederate flag outfit.
There you go.
Alright, so hey, I came out here from Chicago, and I'm glad I did.
Go back.
This is great. I realized on the way over here that if your GPS was an actual human being giving you directions, you would punch them in the face after 5 minutes and kick them out of your fucking car. It's like, hey, take a left. Left up here. Left up here. Okay, I'll take a left up here. Alright, take a left in about 500 feet. Okay, alright. Take a left in about 200 feet. Alright, I heard you. Jesus Christ. Take a left. Yeah, alright, I took the left. Now stay left. Alright. Okay, now get on 94. Okay, I'm getting on 94. Merge onto 94. I'm getting on 94! I'm on 94! Stay on 94. In 5 miles, stay on 94. In 4 miles, stay on 94. You're going to see 90 and 94 split off. Stay on 94. You got it? I'll remind you 7 more times. The fuck out of my car! Right? And then when it finally does come up, you're like, oh fuck, I was supposed to stay on 94. Why didn't you tell me? So that happened. Something that happened on the way here. So what's going on, guys? Yeah, take pictures. Make sure to record this. Make sure to record the this for posterity. Is that a digital camera? No? Yeah? Why does it make the film sound?
Aesthetics.
Alright. I also have an electric car that burns gas. Just doesn't actually power the engine, it just burns. You put gas in it, burns the gas just for nostalgia, you know? Nostalgia.
Hi, Fred.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a very soothing voice, by the way. I wish you could lull me to sleep.
I could.
Putting cigarettes out on my face.
You will.
Pall Malls, like some fucking like nasty like truck stop waitress cigarettes. You know what I mean?
Oh, he knew where you worked.
He knew, yeah.
Alright, good.
I must have
Fantastic.
served them sometime.
Now did you purchase the shirt like that or is it just ripping? Like I can't tell.
Put it on backwards so it's
Is it like a Hulkamania thing or? Alright. Fantastic. Wow. You ever have one of those moments in life where you're like, wow, every single thing I've ever done in my life, every choice I've ever made, every person I've ever met, every decision I've ever gone through with, has led me to this point where I'm at right now. Yeah, that's what I'm going through right this moment. And thinking that I fucked up. A lot. Somewhere down the line. Alright, let's do some jokes. Huh? I'll ask you some jokes. Alright, so I was on the south side of Chicago the other day, and a gangbanger pulled a switchblade on me. Yeah. And if that ever happens to you and you say, dude, that's so 80s,
That's what happened to my shirt.
he will still stab you with it. And then he'll say, who's bad? Yeah, thank you, sir. For doing that. I appreciate it. Just if you can make commentary, like pop-up video on every joke that I make.
I told you we shouldn't have went to the south side.
You know, I'm gonna make some extra money tonight. I'll buy you some Sudafed at the pharmacy. Alright, good. Well, so Zodiac Cafe, huh? This is great. This is fantastic. I like that. My favorite, my criteria for a comedy show is like a slightly half-attentive crowd, and then an entire room full of people next door that could give two shits that there's anything going on, that are loudly talking over you because you're simply a distraction for their conversation about their third abortion or whatever. Or miscarriage. It's Northwest Indiana. You don't really have to get abortions. You just go up to Gary for a couple of days and you have a miscarriage. Breathe the air real deep. Right? Who's with me? I have to write that one down in the notebook. Well, anyways, I decided the other day I need to get a new car. The check engine light in the car that I'm driving now went off, and that's been working fine for 7 years. So there's probably a real problem when your check engine light burns out. So I need to get a new bulb for that. That's going to cost money. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and get a new car. I was looking at these Ford Excursions. You know, a nice big SUV. You can carry around a lot of stuff in it. Good off-roading, good in the snow. They're actually reissuing a new edition next year. It's called the Ford Fucking Ridiculous. And it carries 2 Excursions inside of it. And it actually runs on the blood of Arabs. So, cuts out the middleman. It gets 60 miles an Arab, which is pretty good for an SUV. And if you're a liberal, that was a joke about no blood for oil. And if you're a conservative, that was a joke about killing Arabs. So my comedy is for everyone. I'm guessing you probably liked it for the wrong reasons.
That's not me.
Can we all just say that global warming is happening now? Can we admit to that? No? No? You're obviously a scientific scholar, judging by your mustache.
Yeah.
And you probably have several master's degrees in various
Masturbate.
scientific
You're a master.
criteria. Yeah, it was 80 degrees in March for 3 months, like 3 weeks. You know, that was, that's not normal. Because I like it when the people are like, oh, it's snowing in winter, where's your global warming now? And then when it's like 80 degrees in March, they're very quiet. They're like, no, it's just natural cycles. It's natural cycles. I gotta go look for my father's body in the river because he went ice fishing and we haven't seen from him since. So, where's he's dead. Yeah, because I was talking to this conservative friend of mine the other day, and he was saying that global warming isn't real, it's all a hoax, and I'm like, all right, it's like we can see it happening, all right? The animals aren't being paid by George Soros to show up a month early, all right? For Christ's sake. The plants aren't being paid by Al Gore to grow 6 weeks before they're used to, you know, they used to. So he's like, no man, it's a bunch of liberal bullshit. Liberals just want us to believe global warming exists. It's part of their agenda. And I'm like, all right, I'll bite. Why do the liberals want us to believe global warming exists? And he goes, well, they just want us to invent more efficient technology and stop polluting and shit. Wow, what a bunch of assholes, those liberals and their agenda. What about the polar bears that are drowning up in Alaska? The polar bears that go down to the shelf ice to hunt for seals during the wintertime. The ice starts to melt before they're used to. They wind up getting stuck out on the ice and drowning in the ocean. And he's like, man, that's a bunch of liberal bullshit too. Everyone knows polar bears are drowning themselves because they're depressed about September 11th. I heard it on Bloomberg. And now what's happening, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but because the polar bears are losing their ice shelf habitat, they're trying to readapt to land-based habitats, which never happened before in the past, and they're moving more inland. And what happens when polar bears move more inland, they run into grizzly bear territory. And you know what happens when grizzly bears and polar bears meet? They don't fight each other to the death, they fuck. And they create a hybrid species called growler bears, or pizzly bears, depending on who you talk to. But it's actually happening. You can Google it if you don't believe me. There are actually hybrid polar bears showing up, and they've actually seen several of them now. And now you think if anything would get conservatives off their ass to do something about global warming, it would be interracial dating among bears. Because they'd be like, no, we've been fine with interracial dating since 2001. It's those faggot bears we're worried about. You see male bears fucking each other, you let us know. We'll close down a factory who send those jobs over to China, give those companies tax breaks, and then blame it on the black guy. Who's with me? Yeah? So that happens. Now I said the word faggot, I don't mean any offense to you and your mustache, sir. The thing is, like, a guy that looks like you is either the biggest fag you've ever met in your life, or just like the biggest redneck racist that just wants to beat the shit out of everyone. Which a lot of the times is the same exact thing. Strangely enough. Because a lot of their rage is just like, oh, I want to fuck a guy in the ass, but instead I'm going to punch this black guy. Usually that's where it comes from. Just saying. I don't understand the whole, it's a choice. It's a choice. Being gay is a choice. They are choosing to be gay. They are making a choice to be gay. Really? And you know that because you made that choice at some point in your life? Well, no, but I mean, you don't have, like, a lot of people don't make that choice? What are you talking about? Like, because I know being gay isn't a choice, because I never at any point in my life looked at a dude and said, I want to fuck that. But I'm going to choose not to, and I'm just going to pretend to be straight. No. If you think being gay is a choice, it's only because you had to make that choice at some point. Or you have to admit that you didn't make that choice and you just turned out straight and you didn't have to make a choice, right? So watch the conservatives' heads explode. Like, but no! It's not a choice, or I have to admit I want to fuck a dude? This is tough. Can I fist a dude? Does that count? So yeah, I don't understand it, because every time you meet somebody who just hates gay people, it's just like, I fucking hate gay people, man. I hate those faggots. You ever pull one of those guys aside and be like, dude, why do you hate gay people so much? This will be the answer you normally get. Well, I don't like to think about two men fucking each other, man. I don't like to think about dicks just slamming into tight assholes all the time. I don't like to think about that. I don't like to think about two men just fucking all night long. I don't like to think about two men kissing each other on the mouth with their stubble rubbing against stubble, their bare, hairless chest pressed up against one of their six-pack abs rubbing against six-pack abs, and their beads of sweat running down their masculine form as their bodies glisten in the moonlight, and they intertwine in front of the fireplace and fall asleep in each other's arms and wake up in the morning, look into each other's eyes, know what true love feels like? It's goddamn beautiful. I mean, gross and wrong. I hate fags. You know what? I can hang out with a gay guy, and I can sit down to dinner with a gay guy, and I can be friends with a gay guy for the same reason I can sit down to dinner with my grandparents. I know they had to fuck sometime too. I just don't want to think about it while I'm putting gravy on my mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Especially if it's country gravy, you know, it's all white and lumpy. See, gay guys are cool and easygoing and laid back and fun to be around because they don't have to put up with women's crazy bullshit all the time. It's consequently the same exact reason why lesbians are twice as pissed off as regular women. It's true. And if you don't believe me, you can watch lesbians beat the shit out of me outside later with their bowling bags or their softball cleats. Their acoustic guitars and their motorcycle helmets. So we got a lot of dates going on tonight? Who's dating? You dating? Anyone dating? No? Your sisters aren't here? Alright. That was an incest joke. Yeah. Fantastic. Alright, anyways, I was always a kid growing up that the girls always told, oh, we should just be friends. I just want to be friends. You guys get that a lot from the girls? You probably don't, you handsome fuck. Punch your teeth out. I don't like looking at you. Anyways, but he's completely counterbalanced with this guy over here, though, so I'll leave this out. Alright, good. Anyways, my point is, I was always a guy that just got that shit, the whole, oh, we should just be friends. And ladies, that's like the most terrible thing you can tell a guy that you know wants to be with you, is you just want to be friends with him. Because that's like saying to a guy, hey, I got an idea. How about I starve you for a week, and then ask if you'd like to be friends with this delicious rotisserie chicken. And you can look at it, and you can smell it, and you can hang out with it whenever you want, go out to movies and out to dinner, you can even pay for everything, but you can never actually taste it. You want to waste 3 years of your life doing that? How's that sound? I'll tell you what, though, you can watch your friend Steve eat all he wants, and all your other friends can have a piece too, just none for you. Ever. I had a girl tell me she just wanted to be friends with me, and then she followed that up with, don't you think I'm out of your league anyways? She actually said that to me. And she was from Muncie, so you figure it out. Same girl told me the night before that she had been with 35 guys and she was only 21 years old. And I'm like, out of my league. Apparently I just wasn't in the right bowling alley at the right time. You find time to eat. But I guess the most important thing I found in dating is this. Dating is a lot like a box of chocolates, you know? Most of it is stuff you wouldn't want to eat in the first place. When you do find the one you really wanted, somebody else already stuck a finger in it. Kind of ruined it for everyone else. Sometimes you eat it anyways, you know, it's all salty and warm and broken and oozing. It's got somebody else's fingerprints on it. But so what if it's got a scar on his face and a lazy eye and 4 kids and it's a dude? That's a chocolate cream. You don't pass that shit up, right? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I live in the city of Chicago, and dating in the city of Chicago is really tough because there's a lot of competition out there. Out here in these small towns, you can like actually convince a girl that you're the best that she's ever gonna do because she doesn't know there's like thousands of other people out there because there's only 30 fucking idiots in your high school class, so they don't really have the realm of experience to know that there's other people out there that aren't as awful and shitty as you. But in the city, women have infinite selections of people to date, so dating in the city of Chicago, dating in a big city is kind of like trying to parallel park in a big city. Like a lot of times you can't find a spot, but you get pissed off at all the people that do have a spot. You know, you're driving around the block going, oh, you fucking assholes, and your spot's rubbing in everyone's face, you assholes. But once in a while, you see one across the street, right? You're like, I'm going to get that one's mine. But right before you make the U-turn to get it, some douchebag named Steve in a Mustang takes it, and you know he's just going to treat it like shit and leave it in the morning. He gets it every time anyways. The spot's not going to learn his lesson unless some guy named Kyle in a Camaro parking it the next night, then bitch at you about it 3 months later when you want a committed relationship because all men are dogs, I'm just going to be a lesbian. No, you just make shitty decisions, parking spot, and that's not my fucking fault. But once in a while, you do find a spot, right? And you can't believe you found it. One of 2 things happens. You get right in there right away, and everything fits perfectly. Or you just completely fuck it up from the get-go. There's breaking metal and glass and car alarms going off. And you just go, fuck this? Why did I even want this stupid shit in the first place? When you do find that spot and you're there for a while, eventually you decide it's time to move on. You did what you had to do, it's time to go, right? You got your shopping done, it's time to get out. And you get back to your car there to find out what, there's a big van pulled up to your bumper on one side and you're wedged up against a curb on the other side. You can't get out no matter what you do. So you go around the block a few more times, you go back to the same shops and you go do the same boring things for a couple more years. You finally go, you know what, I can't fucking take this anymore. And you get back in your car and you go back and forth and back and forth and you wind up fucking the van's sister and you go back and forth and the van is broken and destroyed and it's never going to be the same again, but at least you're free. Ever happen to you guys? Parking your car? You look like the type of guy that pays for parking a lot.
They won't let me park anymore.
Sometimes throw in an extra 50 to piss on the spot when you're going.
Yeah.
I know how it works. Are you a trucker?
Biker.
A biker. Okay, I was going to say trucker, rapist, biker. Like that. Had to be one of those three. Possibly all three. So you're like is biker a career? Do you get paid to do that?
Sometimes it payoffs.
Like how? How does being a biker have a payoff? Like you don't fall off your motorcycle and kill yourself?
Yeah. On a good day.
This is one of the things I always had a problem with motorcycles is this. Whenever a friend of mine buys a motorcycle, I'm like, you realize you are guaranteed to fall off that motorcycle. No matter what you do, no matter how long you drive that thing, you are guaranteed to fall off of it eventually. Because you know how many fender benders I've been in? Like I was in one the other day, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, tapped the truck in front of me. When you do that on a motorcycle, you break all of your legs.
Yeah.
All it takes is one 16-year-old Asian girl not paying attention and texting while she's driving to rear-end you, and then you no longer have use of your spine. Like, that's all I'm saying. But, you know, right on. Whatever. All right, good. Yeah, just take a good, no flash. Just use the glow of the lights. So, I drove through Hammond. I drove through Hammond, Indiana earlier. You're from Hammond, Indiana? I don't find that surprising at all, sir. You actually look like the physical embodiment of Hammond, Indiana. If Hammond, Indiana was a human being, it would be you. Yeah. You should be missing a finger or something now, like just to complete. Anyways, if you've ever been through Hammond, Indiana, on the sign coming into Hammond, Indiana, the sign says, "Welcome to Hammond, the center of it all." What does that mean? First of all, you're the very far northwest corner of the state, not the center of anything. And the center of what? Steel mills and strip clubs and crack whores? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly, yeah.
We're the center of abandoned buildings.
Yeah.
What their sign really should say is, "Welcome to Hammond. At least it's not Gary." I think that would be more appropriate. Because at least then everyone's going to be like, yeah, at least it's not Gary. I have a main road to drive through this place. I'm not going to get stuck. Great. What else do you guys want to talk about? I like the signs they put on churches that are supposed to inspire us as we drive by. They say things like, "He who hath not the Son of God hath not life," or "Jesus is the true way," or "Without the Son you can't have the Father," or "Silly Jews." I saw a sign on a church the other day, and it said, "Give Satan an inch, and he'll be a ruler." And I think that just goes to show how arrogant we become here in America, that we just assume that Satan uses the same system of measurement as we do. The rest of the world's on the metric system. Catch up, Christians. We all agree that Satan's on the least somewhere, right? There's a metric system there, that's all I'm saying. So this song in church the other day really confused me. It said, "Jesus is in me, so is Father O'Malley." The second part was written in finger paint, though, so who knows. It might have been blood and feces. I didn't get that close. I don't know. Great. What is going on in here right now? Is this this is one of those nights, you ever have one of those things that happens to you in your life and like you think of it 6 months later and you're like, did that really happen or was that a dream that I had? Because I think this is going to be one of those nights. I'm going to recall it in 6 months and be like, that didn't really happen, did it? That was just a horrible, horrible nightmare. Alright. I assume we're getting paid royally for this show, right? I'm getting a lot of money for this show. This is like at least a $500 gig, right? I never bothered to ask how much this gig pays. Maybe I'll get a free chicken sandwich out of it. I'll do that for a free chicken sandwich. No, it's not Chicago. It's much, much worse than Chicago. It's a terrible, terrible place. So I really like animals. Who likes animals, huh? Yeah, animals are fun. Animal maniac. Do you like snakes? I like snakes. I'm a big snake aficionado. I've been so since I was a kid. I go out like once a week with my friend, and we go and find snakes, take pictures of them and stuff. And a lot of people find that weird, but it's just like being a bird watcher or a fisherman, except, you know, not as normal, I guess. And I guess if you went bird watching with a net, that would be weird. But this is the thing. I go out and look for snakes, and because snakes live in weird areas, they live in like in abandoned barns and like run-down houses and abandoned fields with a bunch of junk everywhere. That's like the best place to look for them. So whenever I'm poking around one of those places, inevitably somebody will call the cops, or a cop will show up, just happening to drive by, and they'll be like, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing out there?" "Relax, officer, I'm looking for snakes." "Oh, all right, we thought you might be picking ditchweed or buying drugs or something like that." No, just looking for snakes." "What the fuck are you looking for snakes for?" "Well, I really like these animals and appreciate them, and I just like to take photographs of them. I used to do programs for nature centers and stuff on them. Just been a hobby of mine since I was a kid." "Oh, all right. Whenever we see snakes around here, we shoot them or we run them over." "Why do you do that?" "Because we hate snakes." "Well, a lot of people hate cops, too." That excuse never works in court. I don't understand how, like, people can do that, though. Like, you're just like, "Oh, yeah, I really like snakes." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I kill that when I see it. That thing that you love, I destroy it whenever I see it." I'm just going to do that for everything from now on. Somebody will be like, "Oh, look, we have a new baby." I'll be like, "Oh, get that fucking thing away from me. Asian baby, I'll kill it with a sledgehammer. Get that fucking piece of shit out of my face. I fucking hate Asian babies." Alright? That's what I'm going to do. "Look, we got a new kitten." I will put it in a pillowcase and slap it against a tree. Get it away from me. I kill them whenever I see them. Kittens, kill them. Cut off their heads. That's what I do. And then I save their tails, put them on a keychain. That's what I do. That's what people do with rattlesnakes. Fun story about a rattlesnake. Since I was a kid, I wanted to see a timber rattlesnake. It's kind of like the bald eagle of the snake world for a lot of snake aficionados. And me and my friend Eric, we go down to southern Illinois a couple times a year to look for snakes during their migration time. And so a couple of years ago, we went down to southern Illinois, and we went to this abandoned silica mill back in the woods, and we're looking under metal and stuff. And all these snake people go there, so it looked like somebody had just been there. And I kept telling Eric, I'm like, I think everything's gone. I think they scared everything away. Obviously, somebody's just been here. Can we just go? And he's like, no, let's stay a little bit longer. And so the last piece of metal I pick up before I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here, has a perfect timber rattlesnake in it, under it. First one I've ever seen in my life, and I was all like, oh, this is awesome. Taking pictures of it. Eric comes over, he's taking pictures of it. And then in the lights, we're starting to lose light, so Eric's like, I gotta go back to the car and get a flash for my camera. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll stay here and make sure the snake doesn't go anywhere. We have all these like photographic equipment and backpacks on the ground, and I'm standing there with like a snake hook trying to like make sure the snake doesn't go anywhere. And next thing I know, I hear somebody calling my name from behind this thicket of trees, just going, David, get out here. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know who's calling my name or why they know my name. And I'm like, I can't right now. I'm kind of doing something. And they're like, what are you doing? Get out here. And I'm like, it's kind of hard to explain what I'm doing, but I can't. And next thing I know, there's a guy in full camouflage with a gun, 9mm, pointed at my face, coming at me. I was saying, let me see your hands. Now, at this point, I had my cell phone in my hand because I was taking pictures of the snake to send it to a friend of mine. And I put my hands up in the air like this. And then I saw that the guy pointing the gun at me had a badge around his neck. And I'm like, okay, at least I'm going to be killed by a cop and not just some random redneck, so that's better. And the first thing I could think of is I'm holding a cell phone in my hand, and there's a cop pointing a gun at me. And I'm like, this is my cell phone, I'm white, don't kill me. Like, that was the first thing that came to my mind. So he puts me in cuffs, and then he brings my friend over with his buddy, and he's like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing back here? And I'm like, well, if you look down to your right there's a fucking rattlesnake that we're taking pictures of. And he looks down and goes, shit, do you know how dangerous those things are? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking do. That's why I'm standing over here with a snake hook making sure it doesn't go anywhere. And he's like, well, what the fuck are you guys doing back there? I'm like, we're taking pictures of this fucking rattlesnake. He's like, oh, okay, well, we're narcotics officers, and we saw your car parked right there. You know, people making meth in the woods all the time and stuff, so that's what we thought you guys might be doing. And they brought us back out to our car and, like, took all our information and made sure we didn't have any warrants out, and then they let us go back to mess with the snake after they realized that we weren't making meth. And all I am saying is me and Eric went back into the woods and finished making our batch of meth and had the best weekend ever. I'm telling you, if you're going to be making meth in the woods, bring a fucking rattlesnake with you. There's no questions asked if you have a rattlesnake. That's all I'm saying. So that happened. And then a few years ago, I was driving in Skokie, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, and I was driving past a golf course. And it was wintertime. I was a passenger in my friend's car. And as we drove past the golf course, I had this habit of looking out into fields for grazing animals like deer and maybe an occasional raccoon or an opossum or whatever. And as the trees cleared away, I saw clear as a bell a black panther walking through this field. Not a black panther, but like a fucking black panther walking through this field. And I said to my friend, I'm like, shit, there's a fucking black panther walking through this field. And we turned around and went to go look for it, but it had gone, it disappeared. I called the Forest Preserve and told him what I saw. I even brought an officer there and showed him where I saw it and stuff. And he's like, it's probably just a cat or a dog or something, nothing to worry about. And I'm like, no, I know my animals. This was a fucking black panther. And I just thought some like celebrity or rap star lost his pet. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Didn't hear anything more about it. And then fast forward to 2004, up in Lake County, Illinois, northeast Illinois, there were these sightings of cougars, these two cougars that were showing up, not like her, but like an actual cougar that was like these pair of cougars that was showing up in people's backyards and stuff, and there was all this cougar hysteria in the news and stuff. They were talking about these cougars. Every other day it was like, oh, the cougars were spotted again, and then the next day it'd be like, they're probably just coyotes, everyone's just being nuts. And once again, never heard anything more about it, but it intrigued me because I had seen one as well. So in 2006, I'm driving through Lake County, Illinois, coming back from a gig in Wisconsin, and clear as fucking day, 11 o'clock at night, in the headlights of my fucking car, about to drive over some train tracks in some rural area, a cougar runs across the headlights of my car and down the train tracks. And my friend, who had no knowledge of this weird thing I have with cougars, said to me, he's like, was that a fucking cougar? And I said, yes it was! And I'm going to prove it to everyone! And this was my reaction to a 200-pound wild cat running in front of my car at 11 o'clock at night on a dark rural road, was to pull over, grab a flashlight, and chase it. And I was like maybe 200 feet into my run when I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do if I catch it? Come back to my car with my intestines in my hands, like, look, these aren't coyote wounds, right? So I called the police once again. I'm like, listen, I saw a cougar last night at St. Mary's Road, ran across the street, and they said, yeah, we know, somebody else called about the same thing. It's probably nothing, don't worry about it. I'm like, what do you mean don't worry about it? One of these days, one of these things is going to wind up in fucking Chicago, and you guys aren't going to know what to do. Well, guess what happened? In 2008, a fucking cougar wound up in Chicago. Came down the train tracks, not on a train, but like walked. Jumped over a fence and wound up in Roscoe Village in Lincoln Park, the yuppiest fucking neighborhood you could find in Chicago. And of course, people fucking freaked the fuck out, and they called the police. The police surrounded this thing and shot it 15 times. 15 fucking times! Guys, that's a beautiful wild animal, not an unarmed black guy. What are you doing, Chicago cops? You've completely read your handbooks wrong. Chicago police superintendent was doing a press conference and he's like, the cougar was danger to the community, could have jumped over a fence and attacked the kid or something like that. Like, yeah, I get that. Could have attacked a kid, but apparently bullets flying around the neighborhood willy-nilly are perfectly safe for kids. Because those never kill kids 3 blocks away. At least a cougar can only kill one kid at a time, you know? And then he said, this was weird. He's like, after we shot it, it had a gun on it and a knife near its body. We found some crack cocaine on it, so and it was brown. So if it's brown, shoot it down. That's our slogan here at the Chicago Police Department. You can buy T-shirts on our website. I'm sure to check it out. It's a true story. It actually happened. The craziest thing is that the Lincoln Park Zoo was 7 minutes away from where the cougar showed up. with the Lincoln Park Zoo Lion House, with the Lincoln Park Zoo Lion Expert, who has the tranquilizer guns and the nets and everything else they would need to, subdue the cat. But they didn't. They just fucking shot it. Fucking Chicago cops just, oh man, we gotta fucking kill something. And at least if we kill an animal, we don't get in trouble. Every time we shoot some kid for having a sandwich on them, in all kinds of trouble. Right? Anyways. So a couple years ago, I was in Peoria, Illinois, doing a gig down there. And there's a wildlife park in Peoria called Prairie Wildlife Park, and you can go check it out. It's pretty cool. It's a big, just this big forested area, and they put up these big fences, and then they put the animals inside the fences, and you see like all these North American animals. They have cougars and bison and elk and deer and coyotes and stuff in these big natural enclosures, natural habitats. And you can walk around the park and look at them in their natural habitat. Pretty neat. But I hadn't been there in a while, so before I stopped, and walked around the trails, I stopped into the nature center. And the guy at the counter at the nature center was putting some candy on the counter to sell for the day. And I said to him, like, hey, buddy, I bet those bears like those Reese's peanut butter cups, huh? Because you're not supposed to feed the bears. I'm trying to be a funny guy, right? And he looked straight at me and deadpan, no, they like human flesh. And then he knocked on his fake leg. I shit you not. And I'd be like, sir, just out of curiosity, how did you lose the leg? And he said, well, actually, it's both of my legs. Funny story. A couple of years ago, I was out in one of the bear pens putting out food, and wouldn't you know it, one of the bears, still loose in the pen with me, came on over and attacked me for about 10 minutes, ripped all the flesh off my legs, and I had to amputate both of my legs just below the knee. Now both my legs are fake. To which my next question was, why the fuck do you still work here? If there was ever an excuse to quit your job, it's that a fucking bear ate your legs at work. If you worked at a TGI Fridays, and a bear made a reservation on a Saturday night, came into your section and ate your legs off your body, last day at TGI Fridays, 100% of the time. That Jeff is always stealing my tables, and when that bear came in and ate my legs, that was the last straw. I mean, sure, they were slathered in jack sauce, but that's no excuse. The guy's still working anywhere. Like, sit on your ass and collect a disability check for a couple of years. You got your legs eaten by a bear at a state-run facility. I don't even think anyone's going to have a problem with that. Even Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity both would be like, sir, you've earned your right to be a tax leech. You just sit there and take free money. Unless you're a minority, but we can clearly see you're a white guy, so we're perfectly okay with it. And then the craziest thing is, like, you're not using that as a trump card? Like, come on, man, you got your legs eaten by a bear, you can get away with anything for the rest of your life. Sir, do you know why I pulled you over tonight? A bear ate my legs! Oh, well, you're free to go. You just killed a bunch of kids on that playground back there, but if they're dead, they don't have to live without legs. That's fucked up. Honey, why are you getting home at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday? A bear ate my legs! Don't you remember that? I'm just surprised you can find anyone to fuck your 2/3 of a body. You do whatever you have to do. And the guy, the craziest part of the story is this. The guy made peace with the bear. He made sure the bear wasn't put to sleep, taken off display, or punished in any ways. The bear is still there to this day. His name is Teddy Roosevelt. You can go and feed it. See it. He goes and feeds it granola bars on the anniversary of which it ate his legs. September 11th, 2004. Not a very good day for that guy. And the funniest thing is, like, I said to him, I'm like, how can you be okay with that bear? You know, how can you just be fine with that bear and go see that bear and stuff? And he's like, well, you know, it's just a wild animal. I've been working at this park since I was 14 years old. And I understand these animals on a deeper level than most people. And I just know that that animal is being a wild animal. They're not supposed to be in cages. And when you're in their cage, you're invading their territory. So invading his territory, he was threatened by me. And that's why he attacked me. It's not my fault. You know, it's not the bear's fault. It's just how the bear is. My bad. You know, no big deal. And I was like, really? You're that calm about this? Because I'm sorry, if that was me, you know, I understand animals on a deeper level than most human beings too, but I'd be like, hey guys, you know that bear that ate my legs? Yeah, I know it's just a wild animal, doesn't know what it's doing and all that, but fucking kill it! In the most painful way possible, like power tools and shit, and then you find some medical way to give me its legs. And I will walk around for the rest of my life with bear legs while wearing shorts as a message to all their bears not to fuck with Dave I. True story. For sale after the show for only $10, you can get one of these. Huh? And the guy that this joke is about actually owns one of these shirts. So, good times. It's a true story. His name is Curtis Bach. You can look it up. You don't believe me. Anyways, I think my time is done here. Do you want to light me 17 times and I'll go another extra 30, 40 minutes? Oh, good times. Anyways, this has been fun. You guys are amazing, and I mean that in a way that isn't. I'm lying. But you guys are great, and this has been a lot of fun. Keith, thank you very much. Guys, have a good night.
Put your hands together again for Dave on our headliner. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our show. We were about to in my life. And the first thing I thought, I was like, either I'm in a scene from Dangerous Minds, or this is like a gangbang lunch break. Like, I don't know.
Sponging and Gary.
What? Sponging and Gary?
Sponging and Gary.
Sponging and Gary? What does that mean? Sponging.
Picking up the fucking brothers.
What?
Picking up the brothers.
I don't know.
You don't know that stuff?
No, I don't know that.
What kind of crack guy are you?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not a real one.
Yeah, I know. Hey, thank you for solidifying that. I'm glad you could do that for me. The funny thing is, like, I do have a lot of friends who are like kind of from the nether regions of Crown Point. Like, and they're always like give me the same excuse. They're like, oh well, the word nigger means nothing but an ignorant person. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. Like, the word nigger was made for black people. Like, if we just called anybody niggers, we would call Macedonians niggers all the time. I love that joke because it's racy. And I could possibly get beat up after every show. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your...
I realized on the way over here that if your GPS was an actual human being giving you directions, you would punch them in the face after 5 minutes and kick them out of your fucking car. It's like, hey, take a left. Left up here. Left up here. Okay, I'll take a left up here. All right, take a left in about 500 feet. Okay, all right. Take a left in about 200 feet. All right, I heard you. Jesus Christ. Take a left. Yeah, all right, I took the left. Now stay left. All right. Okay, now get on 94. Okay, I'm getting on 94. Merge onto 94. I'm getting on 94. I'm on 94. Stay on 94. In 5 miles, stay on 94. In 4 miles, stay on 94. You're going to see 90 and 94 split off. Stay on 94. You got it? I'll remind you 7 more times. The fuck out of my car! Right? And then when it finally does come up, you're like, oh fuck, I was supposed to stay on 94. Why didn't you tell me? So that happened. Something that happened on the way here. So what's going on, guys? Yeah, take pictures. Make sure to record this.
Headliner.
All right.
Then again, let's do it like this. Are you ready to be quiet and listen to your headliner? I know. That sucks, right? I know. That's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Chicago comedian, veteran Dave Odd, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Dave Odd.
What color is he? Dave, I've seen him before.
Hey everybody, you're up for Keith and everyone else you've seen. I just have to finish up a text message here. No, seriously.
Yeah, no shit.
It'll be funny in a second.
After the show, if I make it out alive.
Okay, there we go. Hi everybody, how's it going?
Cool, yeah.
Fantastic. Racist mustache up front, that's good.
I should have worn my Confederate flag outfit.
There you go.
That. All right, so hey, I came out here from Chicago, and I'm glad I did.
Go back.
This is great. Should record this for posterity. Is that a digital camera? No? Yeah? Why does it make the film sound?
Aesthetics.
All right. I also have an electric car that burns gas. Just doesn't actually power the engine. It just burns. You put gas in it, burns the gas. Just for nostalgia, you know? Nostalgia.
Hi, Greg.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a very soothing voice, by the way. I wish you could lull me to sleep.
I could.
Putting cigarettes out on my face.
You will.
Pall Malls, like some fucking like nasty like truck stop waitress cigarettes. You know what I mean?
How did he know where you worked?
He knew, yeah.
All right, good,
I must have
fantastic.
served them sometime.
Now, did you purchase the shirt like that, or is it just ripping? Like I can't tell.
They put it on backwards so it's
Is it like a Hulkamania thing, or? All right, fantastic. Wow. You ever have one of those moments in life where you're like, wow, every single thing I've ever done in my life.
You guys don't really know me or anything like that. I live in Crown Point. Yeah, I know. That's your shit, right? So, I live in Crown Point, and it's weird because I live here, and I started picking up bad Crown Point habits. Like, for instance, for instance, like when I'm outside at night and I see another black person, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I grab my cell phone, I press a 9 and a 1 just to be safe. I don't know what the fuck is going on, you know? Because I like to keep my neighborhood safe, you know what I mean? George Zimmerman all day, right?
all day.
Oh, easy. Somebody's been exposed. Somebody was voting for Santorum this year. Awesome. Awesome. Funny thing is, you know this McDonald's right here? I was having lunch there, and I was sitting there, and it was a like a middle-aged woman, like very beautiful, very nice looking Caucasian lady. She kind of looked like you, but you know she was
Well-rested.
She was older.
yeah, she was older. Exactly.
Well-rested.
Well, she walked in with like 7 of the like roughest, toughest looking black dudes I ever seen.